And let's start off in Liberia. The West African nation of 5 million people, a majority of which are youth, is preparing to head into general elections on October the 10th. Voters will be selecting their next president and legislators. The country's electoral body, the National Elections Commission, says that more than 2.4 million voters are registered to vote. The incumbent president, former soccer star George Weah, will be seeking a second term, and he will be contesting in a crowded field of candidates who said that he failed to live up to his promises of creating jobs and investing in education and infrastructure. Panama Lobe is a communications officer with Accountability Lab, a civic organization based in Monrovia. She tells me that for youth, registering to vote is one thing. The challenge is to actually get out to the polls on election day. Who are some of the candidates and some of the platforms that they're campaigning on?
So this year is really funny. It's really funny for me because I feel like every political party has some logo or some tag to their party name this year. So for the incumbent for CDC, they are Hope We Can Count On, and then for UP this year they have we have the Fixers, we have the Broom, so there's this kind of the Broom sweeping corruption out of Liberia. Yes. So we have the Changer. I mean, there are a lot of interesting names around.
Yeah.
But most of for the incumbent, what we are hearing for his platform is mostly about creation of jobs for civil servants. They are talking about education, that they pay high school student-wide fees. They are talking about a road connectivity. And for the other people, they are talking about the issue of drug in the country among the youth. They are talking about the economic condition within the country. So, I mean, a lot of interesting things are going on right now.
How does the history of Liberia, the recent past history from the Ebola pandemic to the conflict, how do those issues factor in these elections, in these coming elections?
Well, yes, electors are talking about, speaking of health, people are talking about the very poor health situation, delivery situation in Liberia, where you have national hospitals can't even provide drugs for their citizens, and government officials will fly their families out of here to get medical attention. People are talking about these things. And some of these politicians, they are talking about it, but a lot of them are talking about economic empowerment. A few are talking about education, but the citizens are looking, they have an overall idea of what the issues are, ranging from the healthcare delivery, education, and from infrastructure development, as well as economic issues.
How is the confidence of Liberians in the electoral system, in the process, in the fact that the Electoral Commission can deliver the kind of results that reflects the people's voices?
So people are hoping that the NEC will do their best. They have been doing that over the years. So people are hopeful that this year wouldn't be any different.
So what are some of the changes, the new changes that have been made by the Electoral Commission to facilitate voter registration?
The key challenge, introduction of the NEC this year has been with the biometric voter registration process, which will in turn see the biometric voting system. And like I was saying previously, from the onset, civil society had a few questions about the system, given the fact that we still have electricity issues in Liberia. There are counties in this country that don't have access to electricity. We also have issues with road connectivity, which even when we were using the paper ballot system was a major challenge, right? There will be counties that after the elections day, it will take maybe a day or two or for hours before the NEC officials can access these ballot papers. So we thought that this might be a challenge, but NEC said that it wouldn't be. So we are looking forward to seeing the great outcome of it. We have we are hoping for the best, but that is like the major introduction this year for Liberia.
Biometrics is the way to go really in most elections nowadays for election security and accessibility and all that stuff. But the question again is, how is that going to be possible if a good number of people don't have access to electricity and these machines need power for them to be working? So let me ask you, what kind of mobilization has there been so far in terms of reaching out to the electorate by the different parties, from the ruling party to the opposition parties?
Obviously, these political parties are reaching out to their supporters and to other citizens. The campaigning process is on. Currently, President Weah, I think he's in Lofa County right now. And also before him, we have another politician, they are going out in the counties and not just with Montserrado County. So they are trying to seek out votes for their parties, obviously. And it has been huge, given the fact that the time for elections is not really long. And I like to think that with every elections, people already know who they want. But if you want them on your side, you just have to convince them a little more.
What are some of the issues that are driving voters this year?
This year, people are talking about the economic condition within the country. They are talking about the cost of living condition within the country. Civil servants are talking about the issues of salary payment and immunization. There are a lot of issues around elections this year.
Pane Malobe is a communications officer with Accountability Lab, a civic organization based in Monrovia. How important is the youth vote in these upcoming elections?
For any election and for any democracy to flourish, it takes the youth. And this year, the young people are out. They are out. And we have a lot of first-time voters, and that's where some of our educational materials have been focused. Speaking with first-time voters, encouraging them to come out to vote, telling them the importance of their right, and also about them making key decisions that is not influenced by political parties or maybe their family members, but they should think about themselves, their future, the current status of the country, and that's where we have been focusing. It's really key, and that's where a lot of politicians are also focusing with the first-time voters, so they are trying to reach out more to them.
Right, so you've seen a lot of outreach towards young people, those that are coming of age, those that are going to be voting for the first time. What would you say is the percentage of new voters? Is it a substantial number if you don't, without even giving me a specific figure?
So a lot of young people turn out to register. So registering to vote and having a voting card is one thing, but voting is a whole different part of the story. And there are a lot of factors that will influence people turning out to vote or not. And one of those things could be voter appetite in terms of the current economic situation in the country. The lives of the people haven't really changed. So a lot of young people that we are hearing will be like, they are saying, what's the importance of voting right now? Why should I go and vote? Why maybe am I changing this person? Why am I bringing another person in when politicians are all the same? They only come to power, enrich themselves, loot the country resources, and do things that they are pleased with, employ their own family members, and just carry out forms of governance that is not befitting for nation building. So that's another thing. So we need to encourage a lot of these young people to turn out to vote, and young people should also be the ones encouraging their peers to vote, because once you are educated, you understand the importance of your vote as a young person. There are other people that you can influence by your decision or your conversation with them. And that's why we are working closely with the young people.
That was Pane Malobe, a communications officer with Accountability Lab, a civic organization based in Liberia's capital, Monrovia.